So at St. Rita's School, our mission statement is that we are a multicultural community in partnership with parents, provides its students with a quality Catholic education, emphasizing faith and academic skills. In a student-oriented environment, we stress social responsibility and the pursuit of learning as a lifelong goal.
So I feel that it's important for you to understand right from the start that we are a multicultural community, that where we're located, we are situated in a difficult neighborhood, but we have a community that is really focused on creating a better future. So in that, we have our green team of myself, Ms. Lopez, our associate pastor, Father Rex, and our bookkeeper, who has a bit of background in auditing and is very much has her finger on the pulse of spending at our school. So we appreciate that. So for our definition of sustainability is really about teaching our children how to care for their environment, about reducing our cost, and using what we have to its full extent. For our sustainability vision and mission, you'll see a lot of the same concepts, but at the end you'll see it's about creating a healthy, inviting environment in our community that promotes student achievement and community stability. So our big goals, and our probably our biggest goal, is to manage the heat in our school. If you were at our, when we hosted our meeting, you'll remember that there's a large sloping area that pushes a lot of heat into our building. And so when it's 95 degrees outside, it's about 92 degrees inside in many of our classrooms. And this can be a real deterrent to actual learning. So we spend a lot of the day finding ways to cool the classrooms or finding a way to cool the kids instead of finding ways to teach. So that's one of our biggest goals. Also, we were blessed by a gift of the city in requiring us to evaluate our recycling program. Blessed, I say, by a city ordinance mandating recycling because our recycling ratio was out of balance. A very big goal for our school, and part of our school-wide learning expectation, is to create globally aware citizens. So to teach our children throughout their time at St. Rita's School to be aware of their community and to take steps towards creating a better environment. So changing the solar reflective index of the asphalt slope will make a better community, a more inviting and more contemporary campus, and increase the learning opportunities as well. And then one of our final goals is to model this type of recovery and sustainability to other schools that struggle. A big part of what we're looking to do at St. Rita's is to reduce our cost, to rebrand what we're doing, to rebrand our school into something that is that our children are proud of, that our teachers are proud of, and that our community supports. Some of our objectives: to reduce the temperatures in the classroom by 10 to 15 degrees simply by adding shade, by adding sunshade to our windows. That shade can reduce the temperatures significantly. Reducing energy use by raising awareness of lighting left on and computers left on in the lab. Reduction in our waste disposal costs, and this is we've already seen this take place, benefits of the city's attention. We've already been able to decrease our waste disposal costs and increase our recycling. And we hope to improve our student and employee engagement by 50% over the next 2 years, and to give a new look to our school campus. So just very briefly, we'll go over what our initiatives are. We'll be talking about our business model and strategy, our behavior changes, our business policies, and our energy resource management. At our school right now, we're in a place where we need to move forward both from a sustainability point of view and also a financial point of view, where in our past few years we suffered a bit of a financial crisis. We're one of those schools that struggled financially. And so everything we do, we are reviewing. We're reviewing every process to look for efficiency, to look for ways to reduce cost, and we're looking for ways to make every process more valuable. And some of the benefits of that, and we've seen this with a reduction in staff, is that when experienced staff leaves, it can be debilitating to your school. And so to avoid this process of continually retraining, we're trying to make all of our processes more efficient. So we have enlisted our green team, and we have our teacher, our pastor, and our bookkeeper and myself all invested in the success of our school. We do use our school-wide learning expectations not only to raise awareness among our students and our community, we also use them as a valuable tool for our accreditation, and also just to create more awareness within our broader community. So, as I said, we are looking at every process, and we're realizing as Danielle and I go through the school and we bring back our message of sustainability and energy savings, we see many things that people are just not aware of. And we have some projections here about just how much can be saved by people being a little bit more aware. And Danielle, do you want to?
Sure. Well, I do have a funny story about the lights. So in our copy room, we go and we make copies, and then when we leave the light on because we're constantly in and out. So during lunch the other day, I'm sitting and I can see the copy room, I can see the light is on, but it's not registering that the light's on. I don't know that no one's in there. Anyways, the light all of a sudden turns off, and I go, Gina just walked through, and there she goes, "Hi everyone, I'm ready for lunch." And I thought, there she is. She just flips off lights as she goes through the school, that no one's in there. In the classroom, though, those of you who are teachers and those of you who work with kids, they love to be in charge of things and love to remind you of when you forget to do something. So in my classroom, I've gone over with my kids about saving energy and turning off lights when we leave the classroom. So now they'll come up to me, "Ms. Lopez, you forgot." Or I also have a technical director in my class, and their job is to maintain the lights. So in my classroom, we usually leave only one light on a day, or sometimes in the mornings, depending on how bright it is out, or in the afternoon, we keep all the lights off, especially using the projector. That way we save energy. So it's fun to see the kids involved because I know that they take that home with them. And also, I can just walk up to them and say, "Boys and girls, do you know what we forgot?" And they could have said, "Oh, we forgot to take our spelling pretest, we forgot to do this." And they go, "Oh, we forgot the lights, didn't we?" So they know exactly what I'm talking about now when it comes to being energy efficient. So another advantage we've had, benefits of the city, and it actually, as we did some research into how our waste was being measured, we realized that we brought the city's attention upon ourselves by scheduling too many waste pickups. We threw our balance, our ratio off, and the city said, you have 3 pickups for waste in 1 week, and you have just 1 recycling pickup. We were, we kind of naively thought that they might be weighing the waste or, in some way measuring how much we were having discarded, but they said it's purely measured by the number of pickups that you schedule. So we brought this attention upon ourselves, but it has really been cost cutting, and it's also been a really big help to raising awareness. At school, we
had an assembly where we sorted trash. And the kids all have seen throughout our school, all of our trash cans and our recycle bins are matched up. Did you know that in the city of San Diego, you need to have at least 1-to-1 recycle to waste containers? You can have more recycling containers, but you cannot have more waste containers than recycling. So we've learned several things, and the kids really understand what they should be doing to help our environment. At lunch, I do lunch duty on Mondays, and so I stand in an area where I can see everyone, but there's also a trash and recycle bin right beside me. And so that's my opportunity to say, did you know that should go in the recycle bin? Or, ooh, that, so it's a good opportunity for me to be able to guide the students. And the kids are really invested. So every teacher has that opportunity, lucky for them, at least once a week.
And for the kids in class, they'll stand by both and they go, I don't know what to do, Miss Lopez. Which one is it? Which one? So I like that they do come and ask to make sure they are doing the right thing.
So we're working at being more responsible, and like Ms. Lopez was saying about our use of electricity in the copy room, we're also focusing on use of air conditioning, and we have just a few air conditioners in our school. One of them is in the teacher's lounge, and there are days when that thing is running all day, and I think when you go in, you need a jacket. It's about 62 degrees in that room, even if it's 92 degrees outside. So we're working on just a greater awareness of savings, of being moderate, and keeping our costs low. And the heat management policy school-wide is something that is a focus for all of us. In the interest of trying to make our students more comfortable and creating a better learning environment, we have some classes that have personal air conditioners, and we have a lot of really high volume fans going. The energy that we're spending there could be saved if there was another way to reduce the heat, and so that's a big goal for all of us. Another initiative we are undertaking right now is we're evaluating and refining our maintenance and janitorial processes, because we find that they're not very efficient. And just when you have staff that has been in place a long time, sometimes a review is necessary to increase efficiency and to change procedures. And so we're working on not only buying our supplies in greater bulk and buying green products and allergy-free products as well. So the heat gain from the windows, that's our biggest concern, and also what we have a lot to do, a lot of work ahead of us. We have some volunteers in place and some contractors in place, and we'll be working on putting sunshades across all of the westward-facing windows, and we expect that to reduce the heat inside the classrooms 10 to 15 degrees.
Yeah. So my classroom I'm very lucky. I have one of the hottest classrooms in the entire building, in the entire school. And so, as Gina said, on hot days, there are days where I am just dripping in sweat. The kids are staring at me dripping in sweat. And as Gina said, we have policies for when it's too hot where we have to move classrooms. So what I'll do is I'll go to the teacher's lounge, which has AC, but another classroom also has to join us. So then we have two classes trying to be taught in the same exact room, and now we have over 40 students in there. So it's really hard and distracts from our learning, and which is why this is one of our biggest goals. In my classroom, since it is one of the hottest, Gina purchased us thermometers for our classroom, and we have two thermometers in the classroom, one right by the window and one inside to measure the difference. And it tells us the outside temperature as well as the inside temperature. So I made a new job for my students, and they're the thermometer checkers, and they must check the thermometers at 8:30 in the morning, at noon, and then at 2:50 right before we leave school. So we can see how hot it's getting throughout the day, and then also the temperature difference between outside and inside. So far, since we started this in March, our hottest day was on March 26th. And by the way, the kids love doing this. They love coaching each other. There's new kids who have the job right now, and they sit there and they coach each other, say, oh, it's 8:30, you need to go and check the temperature. So on March 26th in the morning, outside it was 68 degrees. Inside it was 73 degrees. Then at noon, outside it was 106 degrees, inside it was 87 degrees in my classroom. And then at the end of the day, it was 108 degrees outside. And mind you, these thermometers are not perfect, they're just a gauge. It was 108 degrees outside and 93 degrees in the classroom. So normally by the end of the day, sometimes I try to take my kids outside and I'll read to them outside or let them walk around outside, do something so we're not stuck in the classroom dripping in sweat. So this is just a gauge for us to see how hot it's getting. And also my students are very aware of it now. So they start to freak out when they see high numbers. But hopefully we can change that and reduce it.
So we have the equipment, and we haven't started just yet measuring the temperature in every classroom. So Danielle's class is our guinea pig class. But as you can see just from a few numbers, and we haven't really even experienced any severely high temperatures or for an extended period of time. But it does make it so that you're focused more on just reducing the heat in the building or reducing the heat in each person with maybe we bring ice into the classrooms, everybody has a dripping wet water bottle, things like that. And it's just hard to focus, hard for the teachers as well as for the students. So other plans that we have, initiatives that we have in place, is to do more maintenance for those 3 ACs that we do have, to keep them just running at peak performance all the time. And I found that, as I said, with the way that our systems have been in place for so long, things like maintenance on something that isn't broken doesn't happen very often. So that needs to become more of a priority so that when we need to use those resources, they're available to us. Other ideas that Dia's brought to our attention, and we find that it's amazingly simple to do, is to purchase a water faucet aerator for $2.50, and that can save up to 40% in your water usage. So a small thing and a small expense, but for huge savings. Also weather stripping around doors and windows. We were blessed with a remodel of our school about 8 years ago from a large contractor in the diocese. But there are things like gaps around our doors and things like that are still there. So we have nice dual paned windows, but our doors are kind of working against us. Now we'll look at our longer term goals. And this, just to set the scene, this is what our playground looks like today. Or actually, this was yesterday. So the school is right where we're standing, and you're looking out over our play space. And that's not a trick of the photography. That is the slope of the play space. So the money that we save on Band-Aids will go a long way in helping the sustainability of the school, or the financial stability of the school, because this is where the children play. This is where they have PE and their recess time. So there's not a lot out there. You can see the cone line in the back. That's our drive-through pattern for our parents to drive through and pick up or drop off their students. So I'm going to have to apologize for my remedial paint skills. But so this is our school from the front view, and this is what we propose on how to change that solar reflective index. By terracing the playground, that sloped area there, we would make it so that people would be able to drive through the alley and maintain that same flow of traffic. But the part in between the fence where the flag is, to define these things, and the trees there, that would be a level play space that would also be accessible for parking. So this is what it could look like. And this is what we hope that it will look like in a short time. The surface right in front here is a granite. It's kind of like a gravel and soil mixture, so that it's lighter colored than asphalt. It doesn't throw the heat towards the buildings, and it's a level and safe playing area, still parkable, and has trees for shade and for wind, to break the wind that would draft through the parking lot as well. So rebranding the school, would create a healthy and contemporary campus. And that would also serve to increase our enrollment because it makes the school contemporary, for one. It has green space and it's attractive. So the cost is about $200,000. And I think what I need to have everyone understand is that if we had $200,000 to use to reduce the heat in our classrooms, that probably would not cover the cost of buying air conditioning, of having air conditioning installed into our classrooms, and then we would have to pay an energy cost every month. So the idea here is that we look at a different way to make a change in the campus, to make a change in the community, and to make a change for our students, to create a healthy environment. So you must be thinking, so how is that all going to happen? So we already have things in place to evaluate our energy cost, to evaluate the savings, and we're already monitoring the temperatures within the classroom. For our longer term goals, we'll need help from outside sources, of course, and we'll be reporting to our pastor. We already work with the diocese to keep our costs low, and they help us to be efficient and to be good stewards of the resources that they provide us. So the risks are really small. Everything that we have in place that's already in the works, there's really no cost to. The biggest cost that we have for our is for our sunshade, and that's under $1,000. For our large project, I think the investment just makes so much sense for our students, for our community, and for our greater community outside of St. Rita's School. So, yeah.
So this paragraph right here really encompasses everything about St. Rita's, where we're located, who we are, and what we're trying to do for our kids. St. Rita's School is located in Southeast San Diego in an area known as the Four Corners of Death because of its gang history. Diversity, poverty, violence, and drugs are daily challenges local students face. This area and these children are frequently overlooked in life. St. Rita's School is changing the neighborhood by educating regardless of income, by welcoming children of all faiths, by challenging students to achieve regardless of their means. The school community supports the success of the children. The community refuses to give in to declining trends and closures. Instead, the stakeholders have embraced this beacon of hope for the children. Learning stewardship of the earth teaches children to respect, value, and protect their community. Sustainability measures show children that their small efforts can make a difference. Education empowers children to change, to grow, and to lead. In Southeast San Diego, children need education, stability, and opportunity to become the leaders of tomorrow. How will you help educate the leaders of tomorrow?